Chapter 5 The Jelly Bean Game. Lucille's daddy clapped his loud hands together. Boys and girls, please find a seat at one of the picnic tables. Lunch will be served shortly, he called. I waited to see where Sheldon was going to sit. May waited too, because both of us had to keep track of that guy, of course. Only too bad for me, because as soon as Sheldon picked, sorry about that, a table, Lucille sat down next to him, and vroom, May slid in on the other side, and I got shut out. Wait, hold it, no fair, I said. Then I tried to squeeze myself between May and Sheldon, but May would not budge herself. I did a grrr face at her. May hissed like a snake at me. I stood there very puzzled. I did not actually have a comeback for a hiss. Finally, I went to the other side of the table and I sat across from them. That dumb May, I grumbled to myself. She keeps getting one step ahead of me today. Plus Sheldon is one step ahead of me too. I looked across the table. Lucille was whispering to Sheldon very secret. May leaned her head over and she listened through Sheldon's other ear. Whispers can come right through Sheldon's head, apparently. I put my chin in my hands. I don't stand a chance in this stupid egg hunt, I said to Herbert. He gave me a little pat. Sometimes a little pat is all a friend can do. Only guess what? Just then, something very nice happened, and it's called Lucille's Nana walked over to where I was sitting, and she sat in a chair at the end of my table. I jumped up very thrilled. Nana, 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 look, it's me. It's Junie B. Jones, I said. You are sitting next to me, I shouted. The Nana glared her eyes at Lucille's mother and daddy. Yes, I know, dear. I lost the coin toss, she said, very annoyed. I sat back down and tickled her arm. This reminds me of when we ate dinner together last year, I said. That was very fun. Except I accidentally broke your crystal glass. Remember that, Nana? Huh? Do you remember it? The Nana nodded. Oh, yes, I remember, she said. I thought back. Plus, I accidentally busted your feather pillow. And if I'm not mistaken, I spilled beanie weenies on your expensive linen tablecloth, I said. The Nana looked at me. You're not mistaken, she said back. I smiled and patted her hand. Good times, I said real soft. May heard me talking. Well, Lucille and I are going to have good times too. Right, Lucille? When I come to swim in your pool, that will really be good times, she said. Sheldon looked at her and grinned. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched, May, he said. The Nana did a little chuckle. I think you mean hatched, dear. It's don't count your chickens before they're hatched, not hashed, she said. Sheldon raised his eyebrows. Really? Are you sure? 'Cause at our house, my Aunt Bunny brings chicken hash for dinner every Sunday, he said. Chicken hash is her specialty. He smiled real proud. Aunt Bunny was a chef in prison, he said. The Nana's face went funny. She lowered her head to the table and she rested her cheek on her napkin. I leaned my face down next to her. Speaking of bunnies, Lucille said the Easter Bunny would be here today. Only I haven't actually seen him yet. And so, where is he anyway, Nana? I asked. Lucille did a huff at me. "Nosy Junie B. Jones, why do you have to ask that question?" she said. "My Nana does not want to talk about that. Do you, Nana? You made a teensy little mistake about that bunny, and you don't want anyone to know that you almost ruined my party." The Nana did a groan. Lucille just kept on talking. "My Nana was in charge of hiring the Easter Bunny. Only instead of hiring the real Easter Bunny, she hired a cheap, fake Easter Bunny. Right, Nana?" The Nana did not reply. Lucille went on. "The fake bunny came to our house to get paid yesterday. Only his fur was real matty, and the top of his ear was chewed off. But he told my Nana that he would freshen up nicely. And so my Nana gave him cash money in advance. And then he hopped out the front door and he never came back." The Nana raised her head. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you for sharing that with everyone." "You're welcome, Nana," said Lucille, very pleasant. "You're welcome." The Nana rolled her eyes. Lucille does not understand sarcastic, I believe. Just then, Lucille's daddy stood up at the picnic table, and he said it was time to get this show on the road. He held up a silver bell, and he rang it in the air. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling. Then, boom! Waiters started bringing food from all over the place, and it was the delicious food I ever saw. There were barbecued hamburgers and tasty hot dogs and crispy chicken fingers and crunchy salad and yummy potato chips and Swedish pickles. Plus, there were even delicious, devilish eggs. "Whoa, what a spread," I said. I stuffed a devilish egg in my mouth, and then I stuffed in a pickle and some chips and a giant chicken finger. I didn't stop stuffing for a long time. And then finally, I leaned back and I rubbed my fat tummy. "Whew, I'm about to bust a gusket," I said. "Are you, Nana? Are you about ready to bust a gusket too?" The Nana frowned her eyebrows. "Ladies do not bust guskets, Junie B," she said. I was surprised to hear that information. "Really?" I said. "Then what do ladies bust?" Roger raised his hand. "At our house, we bust our guts," he said. Herb smiled. "At our house, we bust our buttons," he said. Sheldon stood up. "At our house, we unzip our pants," he said. And after that, everyone at our table laughed and laughed, except not for the Nana. Finally, all of us got finished eating, and the waiters took our plates away. And then, wowie, wow, wow, Lucille's daddy brought out the most beautiful box I ever saw. It was wrapped in a shiny yellow paper with twirly, curly ribbons. He held it way up in the air so all of us could see. "Whoa, whose birthday is it?" I shouted, real excited. Lucille jumped up and down and giggled. "That's not a birthday present, Junie B. It's a game prize," she said. "Before we hunt for eggs, we're going to play a very fun game. And whoever wins that prize will get the thrill of a lifetime. Right, Daddy?" The daddy smiled. "Well, we certainly hope the winner will be thrilled," he said. "It's a pretty good prize, we think." Just then, he put down the box and he pulled a big jar of jelly beans out of a paper bag. "This game is called the jelly bean game," he said. "Can everyone see all of the jelly beans in this jar?" We've got lots of colors in there, don't we? We've got reds and yellows and blues and blacks and greens and oranges and whites. He stopped and held up his finger. But, he said, in this whole big jar of jelly beans, there is just one purple one. And all of us made a hushing sound. Ooh, we said together, just one purple one. The daddy smiled. Then he put the jar back in the bag so we couldn't see the colors anymore. Okay, now I'm going to walk around to each picnic table, and each of you will get a chance to reach in the jar and pull out one jelly bean, he said. But remember, you may only pull out one, okay? Okay, we hollered. Okay, okay. Lucille hurried over and held up the big, beautiful box. And remember this, too. The first person to pull out the purple jelly bean will get this prize, she said. The thrill of a lifetime. All of us clapped and clapped, and then we bounced and giggled and wiggled and clapped, and we waited for the jelly bean jar to come to us. It was the most nervousest wait of my whole life, I think, because what if someone got the purple jelly bean before I even got a turn? That would ruin my whole entire chance. I put my hands in front of my eyes, then I peeked through my fingers, and I watched the children pick. Roger's table went first. He picked a red bean. Then Camille picked an orange bean, and Chenille picked a green bean, and Shirley picked a blue bean. My table came next. My heart beat faster. Jose picked a yellow bean. Then Lenny picked a white bean, and May picked another white bean, and Sheldon picked a black bean. And then at last, it was time for me. My heart was pounding like crazy. I bent over and did some deep breathing. The daddy held out the big bag to me, and I breathed some more. Okay, Junie B, he said, any time now. I stood up and did a big gulp, and then I very slowly reached my hand inside. I felt all around for the purple. I wrinkled my eyebrows, very curious. What does purple feel like, I wonder? I said to myself. The daddy said, please hurry up. I swished my fingers through the jar some more, and then all of a sudden, I felt it. I tell you, I felt it. It was roundish and beanish and purplish, and I grabbed it real tight. And then I quick pulled my hand out of the jar, and I opened up my fingers. And guess what? Guess what? Guess